everyone, welcome to another ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Talk Story. And I tell you what, this summer we have been meeting new faces, and many of the new faces have been coming on the coaching staff because there's been some changeover. But today's guest anyway, is new in the sense of title, but has been with the program for quite a bit of time. But congratulations to Evan Silberstein, who's been named the head coach of the beach volleyball team. And Coach, thanks for taking the time to be a part of this.
Awesome, Dave. Thanks for having me on. It's a great honor to serve the program and the state. So I'm stoked to come on and talk story with you.
Who was the first person you told when you got the news that you'd been interim and then now you're the official head coach?
Well, in some of the final stages of as we kind of got to our final agreement, I was talking to my brother while it was happening. So he was in there. It's good to have family nearby in moments like that. And then my sweetheart Tara was, kind of the first call after that. So and she did just kind of, I don't know, it was a text or a call, and just kind of like trying to get catch up with where we're at, and realizing that it was really what we wanted. So it was exciting.
And I just mentioned that you've actually been with the program for a while. How long have you been with the program?
This is going to be my 9th season coming up. So in January 2015, it's kind of when I kind of arrived in Honolulu. It took a little minute to kind of get everything dialed in. At that point, I was working a lot, but I was just in as a kind of a part-time assistant. That's the way the program was funded. So I came in at that role and just working, 80 hours for 20 hours as people in Hawaii. And, we got to know how that goes. You work. And it was awesome though, and Jeff was amazing for creating the opportunity and for trusting me and needing me because of how busy he was under, Dave. And so there was just a lot going on, and he knew that I would have the engine, and we had Danny out there with us too. He's just a great volunteer. So that combination allowed me just to dive, head first. When I started coaching here, I was head first for sure.
And you know what? It's been kind of a tumultuous last couple of years for the program because it was really during the pandemic. Jeff Hall, he was, one of the first, unfortunate pieces that fell because of the budget situation for University of Hawaii Athletics Department. Angelica Ljungqvist came on, and then she left. So it's been kind of this, it seems like a while, but it's actually a short, compacted period of time where the beach volleyball program was kind of like going into its third head coach.
Yes. And I'm relieved it's me, it's stability for the athletes. Cause one thing throughout all that is I've really done a lion's share of the recruiting. So I'm familiar with the athletes, and obviously coaching out there, traveling and families. So just the overall connectivity. And again, because of my role in California with recruiting and we're traveling, I had kind of become the face of the program for a lot of people, but above me was all this turn happening. And so, I think everybody who had a hand at it for varying reasons did things to stabilize it. Ange offered a lot while she was there, but then she was gone. And so we were all kind of, really scrambling a little bit to figure out how, and we did. I think as we moved into this, after the second change when Andrew was gone, we were able to identify, kind of a hybrid or a modification in the way that the coaches were working to make it work. And that to me is a beauty and a challenge of UH. We usually say our geography is our biggest challenge, and our greatest asset. We also, I think, sometimes is the little challenge that how to make things work, just the Hawaii way. It's a knack and it's a skill, and knowing how to kind of, make people, we're all very much extended in the department to keep things going, but it's a blessing to get to do it. So I'm grateful to be kind of part of the solutions over there.
I want to ask you, when the term interim is on your title, it can affect you personally as well as the program. Obviously, personally, this is your profession, your job, your career, you want stability. The program-wise, I can't imagine going out on the recruiting trail, and as long as that interim, every parent, every student athlete, projected student athlete you're asking, they're probably asking you, well, are you going to be the coach? Which one was more impactful, the personal side of it for you or the program side of having interim?
They each had their own like feature. For like recruiting, I talked to a lot of people and I gave a lot of assurances. What is cool because it's as scary as it kind of was that, oh, we're going to take this on. And now we really go into an uncertain status, almost like a probation that I didn't ask for. But, and like, okay, like now what? It just, for me, I knew it was what I wanted to do. And I knew how long I had served the program and all those athletes. So honestly, Dave, I was too busy to really worry about it too much. As this last little run came when the season ended, it was kind of like, okay, like David and I started kind of talking it like Big West, and it was kind of coming down the end. It's like, hey, we haven't really broached this in like a year, like here we go. Like, okay, we're going to do this or that. So, okay, I'll understand what the process is going to be. But once we agreed to it in the summer, the way that I envisioned doing it was like, just, do it like maybe this is the only chance you get to do it, and go ahead and do it and keep serving these kids that have been here, these athletes that have been here. The women are amazing. Their families are connected. And so it's like, how do I just keep serving everyone? And with the recruits that were coming, I think people bought into the narrative and they could see what the situation was on the ground. So I'm hopeful there was, a lot of relief across the board to just that, like you said, the stability. The multiple coaches has been hard on us. We've all grown a lot. So, we also know that's how, it's like the pace of change sometimes can create like thickness and maturity. And so, hopefully those are things that we can benefit from as a program. Me as a coach, having dealt with all the different scenarios, I think I'm more involved now than I was 2 years ago. I just am. Like, I learned a lot. And then just for the athletes too, having gone through some uncertainties and adversities, different styles, different voices, those are things that help them mature and evolve in certain ways too. So I'm excited to stabilize it, but I also want to kind of harvest all of this kind of like change energy in, as we transition a new layer of stability now. It's excited to try and harvest it as well.
Locally, we always kind of brag about the fact that here in Honolulu, here in Hawaii, the culture, the community that is a fandom around volleyball is better than any other place. Southern California has to kind of rival it, and indoor volleyball has picked up in other parts of the country. But when you're out there recruiting and talking to people, is that kind of culture known out there on the mainland, that Hawaii, that community for volleyball is one of the top?
Yeah, it's some places, yes, other places, no, and then some places, surprisingly, yes. So I think in the beach volleyball communities, or in the volleyball communities, the Manhattan Beaches and the San Diegos and the, just these other spots where there's like little like niche areas. I think those areas, Santa Cruz, like they know, like, oh, Hawaii volleyball, people that are on the West Coast that are in those pieces. I think the West Coast really gets it because, they see everything going back and forth. And then, but there's so many other recruits that come, and some of the internationals get it too, because they've looked over, or they've had other people in their country that have been here for different things. So I hear from them sometimes like, yeah, I just, that would be it'd be so amazing just to like taste it. But there's a lot of education. A lot of folks need to kind of figure out, and, we don't have as many visits as we used to because a lot of the recruiting it's happening fast. The athletes are coming quicker, but when we can visits, really can kind of like, draw that out and get them to the stand or walk them around and see different things. And it's always exciting to educate just about not only the UH culture, but just the overall Hawaii culture and the beach volleyball story and the Olympic history and the brothers here and the brothers there. And there's just so much, to celebrate. So it's always fun to kind of celebrate all the neat parts that are happening.
I was shocked when I was looking over at your bio that you actually got a law degree from the UH William Richardson School of Law. So how many times do your parents maybe sometimes say, hey, Evan, what are you going to do with that law degree every now and then? Does that pop up?
Yeah, it did for a while. I think it hasn't as much anymore. Not just them, just other people, even people will ask me now, like this weekend, oh, aren't you a lawyer? I practiced for a few years. I'm grateful that Richard said it's really, I learned so much about Hawaiian culture, Native Hawaiian culture, and just generally like our Oahu culture, being there and with so many thought leaders, and then my critical reasoning, analysis, comprehension, like a lot of things came together for me there. So it really kind of gave me something hard to focus on. And I practiced, like I actually practiced I lived on Big Island. I worked for Judge Nakamura, Third Circuit, Honorable Judge Greg K. Used to bang the gavel. That's, anyone who's a law clerk knows it's kind of how you do it. And so, yeah, I banged the gavel, did some research, moved some people around. And then I worked in a small law office in Hilo for several years and got to do a broad range of stuff. I think I saw the road and where it's like where I thought where opportunities were at those moments. And there were a little less. It was kind of like that recession, 2009 is when I graduated. So if it had been, I think I'm an accident of time. If I'd have gotten out in 05 or in 2012, and there would have been really more, the actual like opportunities were pretty skinny at that time. So that it kind of kept me like always kind of trying to reach. But I couldn't really get stuff that was, exciting. And it wasn't really the huge money maker either. So why am I going to just keep banging my head here? And that was, it really was neat because it was really right around the outset of the program, the Hawaii Beach Volleyball 2011. And it just kind of, I was starting to figure it out. I was like, this is going to become an NCAA sport. This is like the coolest thing ever. I spent 20 years of my life chasing beach volleyball. And now it's like, athletes are going to be able to do this in college. And so that it kind of like planted a seed for me even at that time. And so I just kind of went like that way. But then over time, that really kind of took me in a different direction. And here I am, the head coach. So, got to say to follow the dreams, but it take a lot of work, a lot of patience, a lot of failing. So you just keep going. And sometimes getting get those opportunities. It's still a lot of work. It's just a lot of fun also.
It's amazing how timing, right? Like you just mentioned, how things fall into place based on certain elements of time on your timeline to your path. And you touched on the fact that you had been playing professional beach volleyball, AVP, overseas. Sometimes I wonder, like when you're a professional athlete, is it still fun, like during all that time? Because that is what you focus on. So there's obviously a passion, but does it stay fun? Was it fun for you during those times?
Yeah, it would kind of go in and out. There was moments when it would kind of get less, and it's beach volleyball, so the environment and the community, I think, are, and it's not huge. It's not like playing baseball. I was certainly not making $1 million. Like not making a lot of money. So there's a sense that one is doing it for love or passion to be able to be there. But yeah, there's moments when it grinds and there's travel. And, I think the world tour guys now, it was kind of more focused on domestic touring and just kind of working to like, as a journeyman professional. So I could play in the pro events, then you play regional pro events and you go an international event, you kind of piecing it together. I think now what some of the top guys coming out of Hawaii or otherwise, what they're tasked with like internationally, and they're going from country to country, and that is drastic lifestyle stuff. I think where we were at for me in the 90s was, into early 2000s, was able to kind of build my life around the opportunities I wanted to have in beach volleyball. So I was able to kind of piece that together for a long enough period that I just feel inspired to have played against so many of the almost all the great players in my generation. And then because I came to Hawaii, I was able to play against all the Hawaii greats, the new ones now, like all the Shoji brothers, McKibbins, the Krabs. I was with them all playing, and when they were 18 or 17, I was 35, and that was great because we could like kind of like really tussle. So I feel like pretty amazed at how the game has been able to give to me. So yeah, I think generally I enjoyed it, but at times I burned out and just kind of wanted to kind of figure out how to do other things, but then all of a sudden find myself back in it. Like it wasn't just a straight line. So there's some burnouts that come with the process. I think that's pretty real for any pro athlete.
Do you still play every now and then?
Yeah, a little bit. I coach down at Outrigger also. So we'll do kind of like a little, every once in a while, kind of the nooners is the afternoon games. Once in a while, I'll get in on that. Or at Queens, go down on Aloha Friday if I'm out of season and relaxing, like maybe go down and hang out. And then coach, get in the game. Okay. And just kind of play a little bit. I'm not out there like trying to train right now by any means, but I'm proud of my fitness, and I'm proud of my coaching because I moved away from playing with the athletes. Really, I've kind of like come way off that. So observation, guidance, instruction, feedback, less like participation. There's different schools there about how that works. But I know for me, it's come off a lot. But yeah, I can every once in a while kind of go out there and kind of demo for the athlete. I still coach can still do it. He's just don't worry. So, but they're the athletes are, our athletes keep getting better, stronger. So it's exciting to kind of watch just this new generation of young women playing. The young women now, the college game is like the old pro. It's not that far from the old pro men's game. There's hand setting and play sets, and it's really it's becoming a very elegant game, and the athleticism that's there is up there. So it's neat to see we're all, because there's so many good coaches now and so many athletes playing, the level is like Kleiman and Ross won a gold medal. You see US having a lot of other international success over time. I think we have a lot of that is from NCAA. It's like not only that, but it's a lot of that because we're all kind of pushing the game forward now. So it's neat to kind of give up the playing idea. I get to be on the sideline and try to be really calm on the sideline when all this stuff is going on. So it's just a different kind of way to get that kind of really kind of hit from getting to compete. It's just fun to do it as a coach.
You touched on the fact that you're on the sidelines calm. I've noticed that even on the indoor game, generally volleyball coaches are a little bit more serene. They're a little bit more cerebral, like basketball coaches. I don't know if it's a TV thing. They always want to be so animated. Football, they're throwing their hat or their headset and stuff. But volleyball coaches tend to be a little bit more like, they can be down by, 8 points on the, last set, make or break, but still the same. Is that a cultural thing with coaches? You see how others, that's how I'm going to be kind of thing?
Yeah, I think everyone's got their own style. I think in indoor, I might ask you to kind of consider what it might look like indoor in the stand, like, because they're allowed to talk. So let me make an education point. In beach volleyball, we're not able to communicate with the athletes only on switches, timeouts, and technical timeouts are in between sets. So you kind of got it. It's like there's rules, and occasionally there's a little bark or just like some things that happen. But for the most part, our norm is to have to be set. And then we do it a walk and talk, and you kind of come across the court and say, okay, we get this, or come up with something. It could be, there's just a lot of things that happen, but it's very brief. And you come across and then sit back down, maybe get a timeout and talk a little bit. That's it. So we're kind of forced there. Whereas if you look indoor, everyone's all the coaches a lot of times. To me, they seem more active. I guess from your eyes, volleyball compared to basketball, probably less. That makes a lot of sense. But from beach volleyball, even to indoor volleyballs, it's part of the nature of the game is that we're kind of doing less. It's easier to get involved. There's only one voice. It puts you a little deeper in the mix if everyone's kind of barking the whole time. So they make us keep quiet.
There's a lot of coaches that come to University of Hawaii. Obviously, they come from the mainland, and I don't know if you had the chance to kind of talk to some new coach coming over. But if I was a coach coming from, let's say, the Midwest someplace, coming to coach a sport at the University of Hawaii, coming for the first time, what would be the kind of the advice you'd give me as to, adapting to the school, the state, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. And I don't know that it's a simple answer. You know, I think relative to representing Hawaii, I would, find ways to help educate them and also maybe offer some resources about places that they might learn more about what UH means, what our history is, we were founded in 1907, or what it means, through host culture, what Native Hawaiian eyes are looking at, and that help them understand that, that kind of feeling of, being a guest. So that would be, I think, one side. And then there's I think the UH side of okay, you have to be really, really patient, and you have to be really, really, really patient. No, that's not patient, way, way, way more patient than that. So that would be probably something I would let them know, that it takes a Herculean patience to work administratively in the context of our state. There's little things, some little procurement here or a little something here. We go, okay, city and counties over there, just things that you never would think about in a lot of places that suddenly are in your kind of helping steer what's going on. You don't even know. So I think I would tell them to be patient and to learn about the culture. Those are my two tips.
Perfect. Good ones. Now let's get to some real intense questioning here related to beach volleyball. What SPF do you wear?
I use the Little Hands. I'll put a plug in for Little Hands. Is a local company, one of the first ones to be able to do kind of all the reef safe stuff. So I tend on the environmental friendly side of life as much as I can. And so I think it's a 35, but it's like a can. It's kind of a fairly thick cream, and it's now you can see me. I'm wind blown. I'm Hermosa is wind blown. Start to get red. It's day 2, and I'm here for a while, so it's like a festival in Hermosa Beach for a couple weeks in a row with all the top junior national tournaments happening. So it's worth it. But we need the SPF for sure.
Do you wear just a cap, or are you the type that has the brim that goes all the way around?
I like my visor. I'm kind of a visor, like a Spurrier kind of vibe, a little bit, hold it on. So my visor is nice because the hats kind of cover. In California, depending if the wind is out or if the sun is out, I also wear my beanie and my hoodie. So I will use a lot of kind of, I like the long sleeve tech stuff. So I'll wear long sleeve with the hoodies over, and that really helps too, because that can be actually pretty lightweight. But everyone's how do you have a long sleeve on? I have it at Queens. I'll have pants on and a cover. How do you have that? I'm I work here. I've been working here for years. I cover up, just get used to it. It's a little sauna. So I cover up for sure. I try to, but I still get a little burn sometimes.
And are you barefooted? Do you wear slippers, or are you wearing shoes?
On bare feet. Occasionally it'll be real hot, and we do tough socks. One of our parents actually created these. Actually, we have 2 sisters on the team, Kylan. And then now Cammie, their mom started a cool little sock brand. It's called Tough Socks, but they're cool. They're little the toe ones, and they've they used to call them sand socks, but their thing is cooler. So when I need them, I wear again if it's too cold or if it's too hot. If it's 100-degree sand, normally I can kind of make it work in most hot sand, but if it's really blazing at Queens or something, we'll cover up with our Tough Socks. Other than that, bare feet.
See, now that's the wardrobe of our head coach for beach volleyball. Right? Depending on where you are, it's going to be the visor or the hoodie, right?
That's why I gave up the law career right there, Dave. Even a couple hours a day outside in the bare feet. I got to do a lot else to get me there, but I know that I'll get at least a couple of hours outside every day, grounding the bare feet at the beach. That's a sweet spot in the workforce for sure.
No doubt. Well, hey, congratulations again on getting the interim taken off and being the official head coach for beach volley. Continued success on the recruiting trail, and we look forward to chatting with you and seeing the team this upcoming season.
Awesome. Aloha, Dave. Thank you so much for having me on. It was awesome.
All right. Thank you.